Live from Gil Silva Family Studio in Salinas, California, the salad bowl of the world. Welcome to the podcast designed to inspire, the only one built with ganas.
You're gonna work harder than you ever worked before. And the only thing I ask from you is ganas, desire, a haircut. If you don't have the ganas, I will give it to you because I'm an expert.
From the founders of Gil Basketball Academy that empowers youth to play hard, work hard, study hard, and overcome obstacles.
People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.
Real interviews with real people about real life.
You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
And now it's time for Ganas, leading from the heart.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ganas, leading from the heart. I am Jose Gil, coach, teacher, father, husband, and lifelong believer in ganas, which translates to desire. Today on the show, we have a Division I track and field athlete, Marcus Floyd, who competes in the Pac-12 at Stanford University. But before we get to Marcus, I want to introduce to you my co-hosts. To my left.
Hi, my name is Jose Gil. I'm pretty excited to have my roommate and one of my closest friends here, Marcus. So everybody's going to get to know him a little bit more, see how great he is. So I'm pretty excited for today.
I've heard all the stories. Now I can't wait to hear them from Marcus. And to my right?
Hi, my name is Nayeli.
Nayeli, my daughter. We're excited to have you, Marcus. Welcome. I know you are in Florida now, right? And we are in California. So thank you for wanting to be on the show. How's the family doing?
Family's doing well. Thank you for asking. We're just trying to take everything day by day. You know, it's been a little hectic with everything going on, but it's good to have family close to you and never going through something like this. Yeah,
and, you know, having to go back unexpectedly was not something that you were planning for your freshman year, right? How was that transition or that move?
So, yeah, as a track and field athlete, I was just getting into like the bulk of my season, and I was really looking forward to leaving some pretty, in my opinion, I thought I was going to leave some pretty impressive marks, which I was very hopeful for. But having to return back to campus suddenly, it was definitely not in my plans, but none of this was in anyone's plan. So instead of just trying to look at the negative side of it, I really tried to look at how I could come out of this situation stronger. Yeah. So I've been really trying to just adjust and take time for myself and find what I'm really trying to value and care about in this moment, whether it be on the track or off the track. Just trying to keep busy with work and just trying to make sure I'm connected with friends so I don't really lose any connections that I have. So it's been pretty something to adjust to, but I'm not going to use it to hold me back.
And you're not the only one going through this, right? So that's the unfortunate situation that we are having to figure this out, right? The new normal for us. So choosing California, from being from Florida, I'm sure you were recruited by many universities and many schools. First of all, tell us which ones, and how did you decide to make the move to Palo Alto?
So whenever the recruitment just process for track is, I don't know how different it is from other sports such as football or basketball, but for me personally, I was contacted, I would say initially around after my ninth grade freshman season. And I would just get just emails and letters about recruitment and interest from multiple D-1 colleges. I believe it started out with Brown, so I got a lot of the Ivies in contact with me early on. And then as I started to advance myself in my athletic career, I would be talking to coaches from Texas, University of Florida, University of Georgia. I was trying to reach out to the University of South Carolina, USC, and just multiple just colleges like that are considered to be track houses. I was recruited by a lot of colleges like that. But for me, I was always very curious and trying to make sure I emphasized that I did get as good as an education as I felt I could. So in high school, I made sure I tried to grind as hard as I did on the track, off the track. And I was trying to maintain good grades and also trying to realize that if I have an opportunity to expand my education to an institution like Stanford or Harvard or any schools of that caliber, I would ultimately try to reach for something like that. But I was going to be satisfied with whatever choice I had. Something about California as a child, it was just, I guess, calling my name. So I gravitated towards Stanford whenever I first learned about it. In the recruitment process, deep in, I would say towards the end of 2018, I was pretty set on going to Harvard. But something deep down told me, that California is for you. The weather, you're a Florida boy. You're going to be up in Massachusetts cold. I knew that California would just be a better fit for me. And I visited and just fell in love. So,
wow. So your final two choices were Harvard and Stanford.
Yes, those were my final two.
Wow, not too shabby, huh? So how you must have been an outstanding scholar in high school. Can you tell us a little bit about that, your accolades in high school?
Yes, I would love to. So in high school, junior high, just elementary, really to start off with, I had a very just strong system with my parents about education and putting emphasis on how important education is. I would remember I would do just athletics. I started off by playing football. I attempted to play basketball. I also even dabbled in like karate and stuff like that. And I was always like known as an athletic kid, but I would say more so in my just career, just being a like child growing up. I even had teachers noticing that I also was like smart and I had a brain. And I think there is just so much emphasis and power in that.
Mm-hmm.
My mother always told me at a young age that you, as a black man growing up in this country, you would have to work twice as hard as your white counterparts in order to just get a seat at the table.
Yeah.
And I'm being honest, I didn't quite really register what that meant until I probably got out of elementary school. And then I realized that I can't just like rely on my athletic abilities that I have. I also need to apply myself in the classroom. Mm-hmm. So I graduated in the top 3% of my class in high school. I was very heavily involved with our architecture program that we had there. I landed a job in 10th grade, and I started working as a drafting intern, just trying to get some experience early on. And I just tried. I remember I would be terrified as a child bringing a bee home. I knew my mom was just gonna get me if I had anything low. So that always just stuck in the back of my head, and I've always known that if I have the ability to apply myself, then go ahead and try.
Yeah.
And for the parents out there listening, we always, as coaches, I coach high school basketball and I work at the high school as a AD, and academics, we always preach academics, and you're a perfect example of what a scholar athlete choices that they can have, right? If they, set themselves their mind to it, and of course have the discipline. Your mother is a basketball coach, right?
Yes, she is.
Okay. So did she ever pursue you to try to want to play basketball in high school or AAU ball or anything like that?
So funny story. Whenever I was growing up, actually, I told you whenever I was getting in like a mix of different sports and just trying to see where I gravitated towards most, people were like, "Oh, you're a little Michael Jordan. You're a little." I'm not thinking about myself, but I thought I was pretty good at basketball for a moment in my life. We did the AAU ball and the travel ball, rec league and stuff like that. So I definitely did make some great experiences with that. But I'm not gonna lie, I would probably say me getting the ball and being the fastest kid on the court and being able to have a fast break may have been the highlight of my ability.
Yeah, you would blow by people, I bet. I know you told me a story you used to play. I bet you'd be crossing people up.
I tried. I tried my best.
That's good. And
you can touch rim, right? You can touch rim, I bet, pretty easily.
I can touch rim. I think I can touch rim. I don't know if I can give it the whole dunk, the whole specialty, but
no, I'm sure you got a higher vert than me for sure.
That's good. No, that's awesome. That's great. Once again, to know all youngsters out there listening to this podcast that you could be the most amazing athlete or gifted, right? If you don't have the grades to go with it, your chances of having choices, right, are going to dwindle, are gonna disappear. So very important. School, academics, and athletics go hand in hand. That's why we call them scholar athletes. So it's great, Marcus.
Yeah, and going off of that, can you talk a little more about being a scholar athlete, especially at Stanford, where like the academics is so rigorous, and even the sports as well, like some of the best athletically and academically. So can you talk a little more about that, your experience your first year? I mean, I got to see it, how hard you work. Now just let everybody else know, what's your routine like? what's a daily life in the day of Marcus?
The grind. We want to know the grind.
Of course. Definitely whenever I was looking at Stanford, something that just amazed me was the combination that they had and the duality that they had with academics and athletics. And they are just such a powerhouse just in both like categories and fields. And that really made me gravitate towards the school as well. Every single day we would have just like our workouts sent to us usually at the beginning of the week. And it were like very clear, structured ways of going about how we needed to plan our days. And in doing that, I remember I would see my workouts and I'd be like, okay, I just need to go and start planning my week now because this day I'm gonna have this type of practice, I'm gonna have this type of lift at this hour, I'm gonna have to eat lunch at this time, and we have to set aside studying time for this time. So I definitely would say I was on my toes quite a lot, having to make sure that I'm keeping up with these people, keeping up with my teammates, keeping up with friends, keeping up with different social groups and clubs to try to make sure that I had my days sorted out, because I feel like going to such an institution like Stanford and also trying to balance athletics, sometimes it feels a little bit overwhelming. It feels like your day may be consumed. So I felt like it was just really good for me to plan and also have other student athletes around me who cared so much about being a student athlete, being a scholar athlete, and making sure that, hey, if we have a big project coming up and we have a track meet coming, let's all try to get inside something. We have a building called the Arc, which we would study in. And it was just really neat to see how all of my teammates and even athletes outside of my team wanted to get together and just study and just knock things out together. So I really do like the atmosphere that was present at Stanford as the athletes there.
And also speaking on your workouts, I know how hardcore they are. I mean, you put me through some this year, man. I was almost passed out. So I know it's pretty tough. So like if you were to give advice to like some young kids, if like for say like if they want to get faster or if they want to improve like their athletic abilities, any workouts you would recommend, or even like mentally how to prepare for like to be an athlete of any sort?
Yeah. So whenever I'm just like thinking of quick workouts, the ways I can just stay on my toes with some of my fitness aspects of some of my workouts, I definitely I would emphasize asking around. Something that I feel like I struggled with was sometimes I would feel like I needed help in a certain region of my sport, or if it was just athletic abilities. So if I needed some help in like the weight room with strength exercises, I didn't really have anyone to go to. And sometimes I would feel embarrassed personally because I was like, well, that kid over there, he's like jacked and stuff like that. And I'm over here with these noodle arms. Like, what's that about? Yeah. So I would be just curious to wonder, like, how can I improve myself? But a lot of the times, I don't think I have the motivation in order to go out and ask people, hey, can I have some help? Hey, what do you know about this? Hey, do you think you can show me this for a second? So I would definitely tell young athletes who are trying to improve stuff to surround yourself by people who may be able to just guide you on this journey as an athlete. People are usually more than willing to help. And I feel like the more research that you can do on your own, you can also enlighten yourself and just, whether it be watching YouTube videos or looking at PDFs. Sometimes I would just be on my phone trying to look up like college mock workouts and trying to figure out ways. And I think one of the most important things also is that as coaches, I've had some amazing coaches in my life. I think you need to be able to ask a coach, hey, what do you think about me doing this? What do you think about me trying this out? What's your opinion if I eat this? What's your opinion on blah, blah, blah? And you're just trying to figure out how you can utilize different resources that you have to the best of your ability. Because out of all the coaches that I've had, I think they've all told me to never feel guilty for questioning some type of methodology.
Very well said. It's good.
Are you involved in any community-based events or organizations?
Yes. So at Stanford, I came in and I decided to go straight into something called BSU, which is our Black Student Union. And with the Black Student Union, they coordinate different programs and just ways of trying to connect athletes, just students, and really anyone on campus to just the diaspora and aspects of it, and how we can utilize a platform in order to just motivate and engage students that may pertain to the just African continent and be of the diaspora. So with that being said, I was able to just go in different community programs that they were talking about. They would sometimes have food. They would travel to food shelters, raise money, and that was something that I was very proud of and being a part of. Just like the different community events, you can see how they coordinate with all the multiple like cultural just clubs that we have at Stanford. Stanford is really, whenever I went there, I don't know if I was expecting as much as they had, but it was just amazing to see all the different clubs and community centers that they had. And the way that me being a BSU, I was able to see the leaders and on the board bridge and make those connections and just start events with people and clubs all throughout campus. I think that was something really good in order to join the community together. Lately, during the Black Lives Matter, just in light of the movement, I've been out protesting, making phone calls, calling local mayors, and just really trying to be a part of the moment and being part of the community and doing my part in order to help better my community and just better the community for everyone. So that took up a lot of my time this summer, and I'm still working with that. Even right now, as a student athlete, we have something called Cardinal Black, which is an initiative by Black student athletes in order to give ourselves a platform in order to talk about our experiences as Black student athletes, whether it be experiences that we had prior to coming to Stanford and even experiences that we're still currently facing on campus. So I think that's something that I'm also very passionate about as I'm talking about experiences as a track and field athlete and advocating for ways in which we can improve ourselves in the world.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things I admire about you, Marcus. Just how just that justice you have for social justice and that want to put on for your community, and really be a voice for them, And also, I was wondering if you could talk a little more about being from Middleburg, right? I know a time you told me where there's a lot of racism that's pretty prevalent there, right? And I was wondering if you could talk a little more about that, being from a town like that, and how especially during these times, how that's inspired you to speak out, and maybe how you've been coping with that, just those just that racism that's pretty prevalent in your area.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great question. So where I grew up, it was a predominantly just white area. It was that way since I was young. In elementary school, I would usually be, my mom would call it a dot. She'd be like, "You have any dots in your class?" And I'm like, "What does that mean?" She was like, "Yeah, I did." And I finally caught on. And usually, sadly, I would be the only dot. They also had a gifted program growing up in elementary school here. That just really stratified myself even more. I would usually be the only Black kid, if not in my class, maybe possibly my whole friend group. And at moments it really, I hate to say got to me, but I definitely realized that the person that I thought I was becoming wasn't who I really wanted to be deep down. I did it to fit in with others. Yeah. And I feel like being from a town like Middleburg that I currently live in, now I'm able to just realize how different I am as a person and all the growth that I've been able to achieve. So with that, I'm very proud of. And just whenever I entered high school, I was able to surround myself with more people who looked like me, and just to be able to find a more diverse background, really. And I think that was really instrumental in getting me involved with just different type of just a passion for social justice and social movement, because I knew that it was wrong, but I was something that I really wish I would have done differently. Now looking back at it, is I was afraid to speak out. And I think that's the sad reality of something that I faced growing up in towns like this. I was afraid to speak out because I was afraid to be judged. I was afraid to be looked down upon by people who I thought were my friends. Yeah. So that's something that I had to realize, that if they are making these remarks about you, these jokes, these microaggressions, are they really your friend? So now, just going through with in light of the Black Lives Matter movement, I've been able to see this very clearly. People are still very vocal about what they do. I remember the election night that we had here. I was terrified to go back to school the day after the election because I knew that kids would out me and just be like, "Ha ha ha, what did you think? Trump, blah, blah, blah," all of this stuff. And I was just overwhelmed, and I was terrified to go to school that next day. So I definitely think that, if anything, it taught me, it tried to silence me. And if I've learned anything from experience, is that you can't silence anything you're truly passionate about. And as long as you're doing what you know is the right thing, then a good outcome will come from it.
Powerful, Marcus.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing that, Marcus. I mean, that's something very touching. I know it's something very relevant right now during these times, something people really got to know, that there's still racism here in America. And a lot of people try to deny it and say it's not there, but there's living proof that it is there, in there's certain parts of the country. Just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean it's not happening to others, So, I mean, I really commend you for that, for really speaking out for your people, and speaking out for what you believe in, and speaking out for what's right in general. So, I mean, I really admire you for that, like I said, and thank you for sharing that as well. So I was also wondering, is there anything you could share to any young athletes, any young people out there who are like aspire to be maybe college athletes or who want to just like whatever they're pursuing, whether it's architecture, like you're very passionate about that as well. Like whatever they're passionate about, what advice would you give to them, especially navigating as a minority in this country as well?
Definitely. So like lately, what I've been trying to focus on really is, well, if I've really learned anything through high school as an athlete, the perspective I think I can provide is that listening is extremely important. I feel like as just an adolescent and just a teenager growing up, we have that angst phase that people talk about whenever, like, you don't want to listen to your parents or blah, 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 you're too cool, you know the answer, you know everything. That didn't really fall to me that heavily, but I did feel temptation at times. I was like, why is my coach telling me to do all this stuff? He doesn't know what he's talking about. This doesn't make sense. Why does my mom want me to do this at this hour? I'll do my homework tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. If I could provide any advice to just young people in general, I would say listen. Surround yourself by people that you trust and people that care about you and listen to them. They're trying to help you. They've been through it. If they have any advice, at least process it, have it in the back of your head. And I definitely think it's instrumental to get different perspectives and just ways that you can really process and think about how that situation could benefit you. So as an athlete, from a standpoint that I really was a big part of my life, was listening to my body and listening to myself.
Yep.
So occasionally as an athlete, we sometimes sadly face injuries, and injuries can be very just difficult times in an athlete's career.
Yes.
And I feel like I could have prevented these injuries if I would have listened to myself and my body more. But I kept listening to other people and temptations that were saying, well, you should probably be able to beat these people, or you'll be fine for one more race, or if you wear tape, or if you put on icy hot, it'll be fine. But my body knew the answer, and it knew that something was not right, and I knew that I wasn't prepared to run. And sadly, as a result of that, I did end up just hurting myself more.
Yeah.
So I do feel like listening to just multiple personas, especially yourself, is a good way to just keep yourself grounded and to know that you're doing the right thing. I don't know if anyone believes in the saying of that gut feeling, but usually your gut feeling is there for a reason, and I don't think you should ignore it. So if you just listen to people who you trust and people who care about you, listen to yourself and follow your heart and your dreams, I honestly think that you'll be successful either way.
Yes, very well said. Now, during this pandemic, we could either go one way or the other as far as our evolvement as physical evolvement. And so with that being said, how do you maintain fit? Because just looking at you on video, I'm thinking, oh my God, he looks really good.
He got big.
You know, he got big. He's swelled up, and my God, he's going to come back to Stanford, evolving into a different person. You know, so what have you done during this pandemic? Now that you're back in Florida, to maintain and to actually evolve into into a better athlete, or better, when you go back to.
Of course. So whenever I did get back, a lot was going on, if I'm being honest. There was just, and the Light Up a Black Lives Matter movement, we had just gotten back from college, and I was trying to do classes online. And I was just really I had a lot on my plate, I felt. And in this moment, I felt it was important to choose something that I knew I really needed to shift my energy towards. And with that being said, I think I made the conscious decision in order to, just for the sake of my mentality, focus on classes and pause a little bit on because I was, like I told you, in the middle of a season, and I was still doing rigorous workouts every single day. And being thrown back home, I had to face the reality that I wouldn't have the trainers that I had. I wouldn't have the nice little food bar they have with snacks and stuff like that every single day. A lot of the luxuries that I was so privileged to have would be stripped away from me, and I would be back home. And I would be without a track, which was a really hard situation to wrap my head around, because as a track and field athlete, that's our home. That's where we want to be. But they shut down a lot of the facilities. So I definitely took some time for myself. And I would say for about 3 weeks, I didn't really touch a track because I really didn't know when I would touch a track for the next time. So I was just trying to really set some time out of my day to think about and process what was going on. And on the side of just staying healthy and staying fit, I would look up, I have little YouTube videos saved up and trying to do core and just trying to do general strength exercises. I got me some dumbbells, and I tried to just stay motivated and find ways in order to do fitness on my own. And if I've learned anything out of that, once I did start training it on once again, it was that I'd have to be there to motivate myself. And I have to hold myself accountable, because what are you going to do when no one's watching? I think that's a very important statement to say, because whenever you could be around teammates and pushing each other, that's a like magnificent energy that can be there. But whenever no one's watching, what are you doing to stay on top? What are you doing to try to be the best? What are you doing to try to be at an elite national level? So I definitely learned how to be there for myself and to do exercises for myself and to motivate myself. And I think the result of that may have been just myself and my body feeling better, and may have just added to me gaining some muscle and just really being in the moment and realizing that I can't do this for anyone else. I have to do this for myself. And I think that's really been motivating me every single day to just top up my workouts and to push myself.
Inspiring for us all.
Yeah, I think it's pretty. I love that quote. You know how you said like, when no one's watching, that's when like the real results are made. You know, like I think that's something all of us can really live by. You know, like always work hard, regardless of who's watching you. You know, and going out for that, I was wondering if there's ever been a point in your life where like you were facing an adversity or a challenge where like, you really have to keep pushing and really like dig deep within yourself to like really push forward and overcome the obstacle.
Definitely. I think I highlighted it a little bit previously, but I believe 2017, I had torn my hamstring doing the 100 meters. So that summer, that year, basically, I don't like bragging on myself really, but I was on fire.
We want you to brag.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
Hold on. If I was a Division I athlete at Stanford University in the Pac-12, I'd probably be bragging quite a bit.
You brag either ways.
I appreciate it. So I was state runner-up in the triple jump, and I was able to have a final finish top 8 in my state of Florida in the 100-meter dash, which I'm just going to go ahead and, I hate to say brag. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. It's a pretty big deal in Florida if you are a state finisher inside the 100-meter dash, because Florida is known as, we have something called Florida Fast.
Yes.
We have a lot of elite runners come out of our state. And we even have a major clash right now with the states like Texas and California, especially. Or figure out who's the track powerhouse. But Florida, it was definitely a moment for me to be in that final with all of these like major names, and it was definitely a surreal moment for me to be there. And I was only a sophomore, and I think that's what made a whole bunch of colleges reach out to me. And they were like, "There's like and like talking about athletes, I feel like there's potential. What are you gonna do with that potential?" That is the just something that I've been navigating my entire life. As an athlete, you may have potential, you may have talent, but what are you gonna do with that talent? Because another quote that I love is that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So you may have all of this just talent and potential built up, but how are you going to use that energy? So with that being said, I was able to use my talent to my advantage my sophomore year and do some really amazing things on the track. But going into a meet that we have, a regional qualifier we have for the Junior Olympics, I pulled my hamstring in the 100-meter dash, and it was a pretty rough time because I knew deep down that if I would have stayed healthy, I could have really shocked myself and done some really amazing marks, hopefully. But I had to really sit down and pick myself back. And whenever I was injured, I would have to like look at myself and be like, why did this happen? Like, what did I do wrong? I was having such a good year. Like, I was really just trying to figure out what had I done as a person to deserve something like that. And that is a really dark place for some athletes. And I feel like you need to realize that as athletes, we're always going to face adversity and we're always going to face challenges. It's how you use those challenges to your advantage to come out as a better athlete. So whenever I was just going through this process, I was really trying to figure out what I could do in order to come out better, but I was also wondering what I could do to come out quicker, like literally. So I was just trying to get recovered as fast as possible. And I remember I would only I took 3 weeks off probably. Didn't ice consistently. I was like, I'm young. My body's going to snap back. Like, it's not even anything
naive.
Serious. Going into the next year, I just was not producing the results that I needed to, because in like practice, I would struggle to finish workouts without feeling some pain. And I didn't want to push myself too hard because I felt like I would risk myself injuring myself again. And this is the part that I try to emphasize about listening to your body, because if I would have listened to my body and said, you know that you're not fully healed, take more time to heal, I probably would have been able to make a better comeback. So definitely my whole entire junior year, it was a season that was not good in any way. I was still able to make it to the regional qualifier, but my times and my PRs, my personal records, were nowhere near where I knew that they should have been. And that was definitely a really hard time to navigate, because during my sophomore season, a lot of these big buzz colleges that I mentioned previously were knocking at my door. But whenever I got injured and I wasn't producing the same results, it would just hurt for me to reach out to them, and I wouldn't receive any feedback, or they wouldn't answer me, they wouldn't answer calls. And that was definitely a rough time, because I felt like I had failed myself as an athlete. And I decided one day that I could be mad about it as much as I wanted to. It's not going to get me to where I needed to be any quicker. So with that being said, I had to really sit down and not care about what others thought. And I had to sit down and listen to my body and listen to myself, because I think something that really consumed me was everyone was so used to Marcus. Marcus being the number one at this, Marcus getting this award, Marcus having this time. And Marcus was losing it. Marcus was not on his A game. Marcus was not where he should have been. Yeah. And that hurt me for a long time. And as soon as I realized that I can't care about what other people think, and I need to be there for myself and do what I know is right for my body, I was able to come out of just my senior year better as an athlete. And that's how I transitioned to Stanford. And I feel like that's what made it such a smooth process for me, because I was with other like-minded people who also had the same sentiment.
Wow, this has been such a powerful podcast. And for all the listeners out there, especially the young ones that are aspiring to be Division I athletes and at the highest institutions, can't get any better than where Marcus Floyd is right now. So you are the name of our show is Ganas, and you exemplify that perfectly as not only a D1 athlete but as a D1 person. So Marcus, that's. We can go on for hours. We got to get him back on the show another time, right?
D1 person, I like
that. Yeah, D1 person. Hashtag D1 person, Marcus. But we're gonna wrap it up with one of the favorite parts of our show with the kids. We call it carne asada, quick fire, and so a barbecue, Mexican barbecue. We got to bring you over for a carne asada one day, Marcus, and. Yours truly is a chef. So what we do is, how does this work, Josue?
We call it carne asada because we're about to grill you with some questions right now, some quick fire questions. It'll be quick answers, and just some fun ones. It'll be some pretty fun questions, all right? So
you can't ask Siri for the answers, okay? It's got to come from your heart, man.
All right, ready? So the first one is, what's your favorite movie?
Black Panther.
Twitter or Instagram?
Twitter.
Favorite Netflix show?
Right now, All American.
Ooh, okay. I love All American.
Okay.
Favorite hobby during quarantine?
Favorite hobby during quarantine? Definitely sitting in my room, listening to just R&B music and doing whatever work I need to do for the day.
Okay. FKA Twigs, right?
I've actually been listening to just a bunch of nice, cool down, stripped back, just melodies and R&B music. Just really trying to get myself in a positive mood and vibe to just relax.
I like it.
Time to feel sometimes.
Okay. How fast do you run the 40-yard dash?
The 40-yard dash. That's a question that I've honestly dreaded for a long time, because I've only ran it like once, and I did it freshman year. Whenever I did do it freshman year, I registered, I think, 4.32.
Freshman year. Yeah, as a freshman.
Whoa. So actually, can I change the rules here? Because I want to know more about that. Isn't 4.23 world class? I believe it was.
I think so.
Or is it 4.3?
Something like that. I'm pretty sure the really, really elite people, like the people that are kind of untouchable right now, hitting high 4.1s. But anything that 4.2s, you're pretty serious.
I mean, the NFL players getting like 4.4s, like the fastest ones, right?
Yeah,
like the low 4s. So that's crazy.
Wow. I'm gonna be your agent, Marcus. I'm gonna be your agent. I'm gonna represent you, man. All right, and the final one.
Hot Cheetos or Takis?
Hot Cheetos.
Hot Cheetos.
We had those in the room this year.
She wanted you to answer Takis on that.
Actually, we got more. We got one more.
Okay, what do we got?
Last one right here. Last one.
Yeah.
Who's a better artist, Drake or Lil Sham? I know it's a tough one.
I'm gonna have to give it to my man Lil Sham. He's been coming out consistent.
Lil Sham.
He's got all the platforms. I know you guys have seen his numbers going up right now.
Yeah.
Drake is pretty overrated right now. So it's nice.
So you say Lil Sham. Okay.
I'm gonna give it to him.
Solid answer.
Well, it's been great having you, Marcus. Please, best wishes and hope to see you soon here in California, back at it. And we can't wait to see you. We want to go watch you at a track meet, and cheer you on. So you're your biggest fans in California right here.
Yep. And thanks for being here, Marcus. It's love over here. And hopefully we'll be able to see you soon on campus. And staying optimistic.
I hope you guys as well. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Bye.
And that's our show today. We'd like to thank Marcus Floyd.
And on behalf of the GBA family, keep leading with ganas.
My heritage is deep in my veins, blood of a king, not different than most. I come from a long line of hustlers, we dig from the dirt, no need to boast. My heritage taught me to fight, they moving their brains while they busting their back. My heritage made me a wolf, I'm ready for battle as I lead my pack. My head held high cause I'm proud of my roots, my heritage. It gave me a boost to the top, now I'm fair that we running from the cops. Now this is America, no sounds of surprise. They go on the news and spread it with lies. Truth of the evils in different forms, the rich can get richer, bro, it's a norm. History repeats itself, that's how it goes. Trump signing bills, not call it Jim Crows. What's up, it's the fan, we still got each other. I trust in my neighbor, just like my brother. Our heritage taught us the power of unity. We always on top as we got community. And I take that over money any day. We stick together, our problems gonna fade away. My heritage taught me when there's a will, there's a way. We need to find that way. My heritage, my heritage, my heritage. It taught me to hustle. My heritage, my heritage, my heritage. It taught me to fight. My heritage.